Welcome to Newsmax TV. I'm Kathleen Walter. With us now from New York is New York City Republican mayoral candidate John Catsimatidis. A Greek immigrant, Mr. Catsimatidis grew up in New York City and is now living the American dream as the owner and chairman and CEO of the Red Apple Group, with holdings in oil, real estate, aviation, and supermarkets. There are at least 10 mayoral candidates, including Democrats, Republicans, and one independent, seeking to succeed three-term Mayor Michael Bloomberg, with a Republican primary election scheduled for September 10th of this year. Mr. Catsimatidis, welcome.
Thank you for having me today.
You've been very successful running a business in New York City. Can you share with us why you've decided to enter politics, and if elected, what would your priorities be as mayor?
Well, I love New York City. New York City is responsible for my success. It's responsible for my family's success. And I have an IOU out. And I believe that all people that are successful should pay back their cities, their states, their towns, our country. And instead of having professional politicians, that we should have more business people and more successful people that run for office and try to help our cities. I'm the only one that's created tens of thousands of jobs of all the people running. I know how to create jobs. I know how to balance a budget. And it's important to a city like New York, where we have a $70 billion budget.
Mr. Catsimatidis, what separates you from your opponent, former chief of the Metropolitan Transportation Association, Joe LaHoda?
Well, I've been running my own companies for 42 years. I've been a CEO. I accomplish. I create. You know, there's one thing about people that are number two people, number three people. I actually create value. I've created value for my companies. I've created value for my families. Now it's time for me to go to work and create value for all the citizens of New York. I want to create jobs. I want to make sure our streets are safe. And, you know, I'm not a professional politician. I don't want anything for it. Mayor Bloomberg got paid $1 a year. I joked around with the press. I said, well, since I started as a grocer, maybe I'll work for 99 cents. And that's what's important to me. Success for our fellow New Yorkers and be able to serve the citizens of New York City and do the right job for them.
You talked about street safety, so I want to ask you about the city's controversial Stop-and-Frisk program. Many of the Democratic candidates for mayor oppose this program. Can you share with us your view of this program? And without Stop-and-Frisk, would that lead to a surge in crime in the Big Apple?
Yes, it would. I am a candidate, one of the only candidates that supports Ray Kelly to hopefully stay on as police commissioner or higher. I'm the only one that is pushing that. I believe that if we stop and frisk, that we are surrendering to the hoodlums in New York, and we can go downhill very fast. And that's all the Democratic candidates could hurt New York's.
What about Mayor Bloomberg's Get Tough policies for closing schools deemed to be failing and for using student test scores to measure teacher effectiveness? Would you keep these policies in place or overturn any of them?
Well, I think somebody has to be boss. I believe the mayor should be the boss of this of the school system. Somebody has to take responsibility and say, I'm responsible. I think our teachers are, by and large, are great teachers, but we all have to decide that our students are number one, that we have to worry about our students. We have to give our teachers better training to be able to service our schools and to do the right job. And you can't just have a lifetime job just because you have tenure. You have to be able to teach our students, and I think there's got to be some kind of system to rate these teachers that are not teaching our students.
And what about keeping New York City secure and protecting it from terror attacks? Do you support the NYPD's anti-terrorism surveillance policies? And in the wake of reports that the FBI refused to share terror-related information with Boston PD before the recent bombing there, can New York City even count on the feds to help protect the Big Apple?
Well, I believe Ray Kelly has a better relationship with the FBI, and I'm sure they share information all the time. I support what the city is doing, that we have our own terrorist force watching out for those terrorists. And we got to keep our citizens safe, and we have to make sure that people can walk around New York City and say, I feel good about it. And to me, that's one of the most important things a mayor, the next mayor, should stand for.
Given the fact that New York City is considered to be the #1 terrorist target in the U.S., do you approve of the Obama administration's seizure of Verizon phone records?
Well, I think we have to do our homework and find out. I think he has to disclose why he's doing that. I mean, it shocks everybody. I remember when I heard it this morning on the radio. It shocked everybody to say, oh my God, what's going on? And is it political? Because this comes on what's just happened last week, that the IRS, that the government was possibly using the Internal Revenue System to go after citizens, which is wrong. If they're going after terrorists, that's one thing. But we just have to make sure we have checks and balances. And that's what our country was built on, checks and balances.
An ad in support of Joe Lhota has become controversial. Former 9/11 Mayor Rudy Giuliani is now being criticized for trying to share September 11th credit with Lhota. What do you make of this ad?
I don't like the ad. You know, I have a lot of respect for Rudy Giuliani. Rudy did a great job when he was mayor. But, you know, he ran for president just on 9/11, and he came out with very little percentage. I think we got to move on. He did a good job. And I think Lhota, who's a nice guy, had very, very little to do with it. It was Rudy's call. It was Governor Pataki's call. Governor Pataki mobilized the National Guard. And I think they all did a good job, but a #2 guy takes orders from the #1 guy.
New York's Liberal Party just endorsed you. How significant was this endorsement to your campaign? And can you share with us some of the other endorsements that you've received?
Well, I think it's a game changer. Rudy Giuliani ran as a Republican liberal. Mayor Bloomberg ran as a Republican liberal. Many other people have run as a Republican liberal. This is what New York City is all about. Am I a Republican? Yes, I am a pro-business Republican. Am I a conservative? Yes, I am. I believe in safety in our streets, and if I become mayor, when I become mayor, the hoodlums better leave town. I believe in keeping our citizens safe. Am I a liberal? Yes. How am I a liberal? I believe we have to take care of the underprivileged kids in our poor neighborhoods. We have to take care of our elderly. And this is what New Yorkers are all about, that we're tough on business, tough on crime, but when it comes to our elderly and when it comes to our kids, we have a heart. And I think that's very important for all New Yorkers. I've gotten Governor Pataki's endorsement, which I'm very thankful for. I've got the majority leader of the New York State Senate, Dean Skelos. I've gotten his endorsement. I have many endorsements in Staten Island and in all the boroughs, from state senators to congressmen, etc. So I believe we're ahead of the curve. The other important thing is that we're spending our own money. We are not doing fundraising. We are doing friend raising. We are getting together with hundreds of people every day, hugging people in every borough and telling them we want their support.
I want to ask you about a Democrat who's running for mayor. Former Congressman Anthony Weiner is now seeking the Democratic mayoral nomination, and after a rocky start, he seems to be doing a little bit better amongst Democrats in the polls. What do you make of his candidacy?
I don't think he's going anywhere. I've known Anthony. I know his wife. I think he should move on with a different kind of career. But I think he wants to give it a try. I don't believe he'll make a lot of progress. I think X amount, maybe 15% of the people are willing to give him a chance. But, you know, 15% of the people are willing to give anybody a chance. but I don't believe he's going to make progress.
Last question for you is on a separate topic. New Jersey Governor Christie decided to hold a special election to replace the late Democratic Senator Frank Lautenberg. How do you view this decision?
Well, I guess he had a very, very tough decision. He didn't want to run in November in a situation where Democrats might come out and vote the Democratic line. So I'm sure it was a very, very painful decision on the way he did it. But at the end of the day, I think he probably made an intelligent decision so he can win in November. And I hope he does win in November. He's a common sense governor that does the right thing for his constituents.
All right. Well, if folks want to learn more about you and your campaign, where can they go?
Our website, www.cats2013.com. And
right.
you know, if people can't remember my name, I'll tell you what Saturday Night Live wanted to do. You know, my name is Catsimatidis, and we've been using cats. So Saturday Night Live wanted to do Gotham has Batman, New York has the Catman. Nobody will forget that one. Thank you for having me.
John Catsimatidis, thanks so much for joining us today, and I'll remember your name.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, and thank you for watching Newsmax TV.